is a short right hand to the jaw. So far, Baer has been making good defensive moves. Round 10, Max Baer's about to open up with both hands. A terrific right, but the German won't go down. Another right, and Schmeling topples. Referee Donovan picks up the count, and Schmeling barely makes it at 9. Now Baer returns to the attack as Schmeling's legs turn to rubber. Schmeling's defenses have crumbled. Max Baer scored a sensational tech win 1 year and a week later. June 29, 1933. You're looking at Jack Sharkey, world's heavyweight champion, and challenger Primo Carnera in a scheduled 15-round heavyweight title bout. As Sharkey rushes in, he catches a hard left that sends him into the ropes. Carnera, with his back to us, is a fighter by agitation rather than by instinct, a manufactured heavyweight. He advanced to the contender's role by knocking over a long line of hand-picked second and third-rate opponents. Sharkey is making the first defense of the crown he won from Max Schmeling 1 year ago. Carnera has height, weight, and reach in his favor. Dupreme stands 6.5 feet tall and weighs 260.5 pounds. The question is, can Sharkey's speed and faster punching overcome Carnera's advantages in height, weight, reach, and brute power? Round 6, final round. Sharkey hasn't been getting away from Dupreme's shots. He's slowing down. Sharkey finds himself in a headlock. Years later, Carnera was to become a better wrestler than a boxer. Now Carnera opens up with uppercuts, and Sharkey is getting deeper and deeper into trouble. His crown has begun to topple. Carnera, showing his sharpest accuracy since round 1, has been in complete command here in round 6. Now watch Sharkey's best punch of the fight, a right hand, but it only slows Primo down a moment. Now comes the end for Sharkey. Watch this right uppercut. The fans are stunned at the sight of the champion flat on his face. Carnera, after a long climb up the ladder, has at last achieved his ambition. March 25, 1916, New York City. This is Madison Square Garden, the old Madison Square Garden on Madison Avenue at 27th Street. A cumbersome, ornate structure that until 1924 played host to some of the greatest fights ever fought. If the action seems unusually fast, bear in mind that in 1916, the motion picture industry was still in the flicker stage. Tonight, a title bout between heavyweight champion Jess Willard and challenger Frank Moran. The fans arrive in style. The promoter of this bout was famous Tex Rickard, who made boxing a huge commercial enterprise. Moran looks smaller than he really is. Actually, Frank is 6 feet 1 and weighs 205. Willard is a giant, 6 feet 6 and weighed in at 259 pounds. Willard became champion 11 months earlier when he knocked out Jack Johnson in Havana, Cuba on April 5th, 1915. Moran's aggressive, but he lacks the equipment to fight a man of Willard's size. He's forced to rely on overhand rights and lefts. See Willard ripping right uppercuts. Later just claimed he broke his hand when one of those uppercuts landed on Moran's elbow. Moran keeps trying overhand rights. The end of round 2, and the corner men go to work with their fans, no longer considered proper equipment. Moran begins round 10 in a blaze of action. Willard makes use of his longer reach by jabbing with his left, then clubbing a right to the body. Moran is still up on his toes, though. He's game. Moran, hanging back, lands a right to the jaw. In those days, decision fights were against the law in New York State. That's the way this title bout between champion Jess Willard and Frank Moran ended. The newspaper termed Willard the winner. Old Madison Square Garden, March 25th, 1916.
This is Max Baer in Galento's home. Tony's a tough customer and called Baer a big bump. Baer calls Tony a few things, too. Galento, claiming a broken hand, fails to answer the bell for the 8th round. And Baer is declared the winner by a knockout. Four months previous to this bout, Lewis outpointed Godoy in 15 rounds. Godoy asked for another chance at the Brown Bomber, and he gets it. The fight is all over according to referee Kavanaugh, but Godoy has other ideas. Joe Louis wins by a knockout.
Hi there, folks. This is Jim Stevenson taking you back to September 23rd, 1926. Sesquicentennial Stadium, Philadelphia. Jack Dempsey, world's heavyweight champion, defends his title against Gene Tunney in a scheduled 10-round bout. 130,000 fans here tonight. Dempsey's best punch is his left hook. Destroyed those two giants, Jess Willard and Louis Firpo. Tunney's got the best 1-2 combination in the business. While he doesn't have Dempsey's power, Gene can hurt you plenty. Tunney has lost that tenseness of the early rounds. He's relaxed now, cool, fighting his own fight. Dempsey always moving forward, bobbing, weaving, trying to get one good poke at Tunney. Tunney's a native New Yorker. The first in 1918. He began boxing in the service. He won the AEF championship and then decided to go into the fight game instead of the law. Tunney's had 60 professional fights, and he's lost only one. A 15-round decision to Harry Grant. Dempsey's taking a pretty good beating up to now. His face is badly swollen. His right eye is cut and closed. The rain is coming down heavier now. Everyone, 130,000 fans, soaked to the skin. The end of round 9. Now the 10th and final round of this battle for the world's heavyweight title. Jack is desperate. He's way behind. He knows his only chance to keep his title now is by a knockout. That long 3-year layoff has had its effect on Dempsey. His old speed is gone. His timing is off. And here in the 10th round, he's pretty well used up. The end of the fight. Tunney, the winner by unanimous decision. The new heavyweight champion of the world. To September 22nd, 1927. Soldiers Field, Chicago. Gene Tunney, world's heavyweight champion, defends his title against former champion Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler. Tunney is down. Referee Dave Baer motions Dempsey to a neutral corner. Now let's take a closer look at all the action in slow motion. This is the historic long count. Dempsey lashes out like the old Manasseh Mauler. Tunney hits the canvas. The official knockdown timekeeper at ringside starts the count. But referee Dave Baer ignores him, and instead he tries to make Dempsey understand that he will not start the count until Dempsey goes to the farthest neutral corner. That's the Illinois boxing rule. Dempsey finally obeys, and then Baer starts the count. The Dempsey fans here at ringside are furious. They're claiming that Tunney was down 4 seconds before the count was started. But the Tunney fans say the count has nothing to do with it. Tunney can get up any time. He's watching the referee and listening to the count. He's staying down only because he wants to take full advantage of the count. The Dempsey fans insist more than 10 seconds have elapsed, but Baer's count is still going on. Count is 9, Tunney is up. Tunney trying to stay away from Dempsey, trying to last out the round. Tunney appears to be recovering from that knockdown. He's fast, even though he's been going backwards. His jab is straight and hard. His right cross has the old sting again. There's the end of round 7. Coming up now is Tunney's knockdown of Dempsey. Watch it in slow motion. A right cross on the button, and Dempsey is down for a count of 1. Jack more surprised than stunned. Over 100,000 fans here in Soldiers Field tonight. Biggest crowd in all boxing history. $2.5 million gate. All-time record. Tunney's knockdown of Dempsey is a dramatic example of Tunney's great courage and boxing ability. In the 7th round, Tunney was down for a 9 count, very close to being knocked out. And here in the 8th round, Tunney has turned the tables on the great Manasseh Muller. Round 8. Now the 10th and final round. Thousands of Dempsey's fans screaming for him to land a haymaker. Jack's doing his best. He knows now it's got to be a knockout if he's going to win tonight. Tunney's ripping lefts and rights have been landing like a trip hammer. Great Jack Dempsey is still in there, trying for one big punch. One more like that big 7th round. Just 30 seconds left. It's now or never for the former champion. A right punch rocks Dempsey. And now the fans are yelling for Tunney to score a knockout. The fight is over. Gene Tunney, the winner and still heavyweight champion of the world.
May 10th, 1935, Madison Square Garden. Ambers, at 22, is 5 years younger than Canzoneri. His strategy? To wear down Canzoneri by setting a fast pace. Canzoneri, because he believed his legs were fading, announced that he'd try for... Ambers is setting a fast pace the first round, as he was expected to do. He's trying to wear down the older Canzoneri, to tire his legs, and to take the steam out of him. Fairly even frame so far. A good left to the face by Canzoneri at the end of round 1. An even round. Tony Canzoneri, leaving the lower corner, is the underdog. But he took round 2, putting him ahead of Lou Ambers here in round 3. Tony lands a hard right. Then he feints with head and shoulders. If their motions seem unusually fast, remember, many of these classic fights were photographed with cameras never designed for today's faster projectors. Occasionally, you'll see Ambers on the right lower his head. He's trying to feint Canzoneri to work out an opening. He's still doing a lot of bouncing. Canzoneri is cool and collected. He's taking his time. You notice he's a bit more flat-footed than Ambers. Watch Canzoneri fire in a left. Then he takes a right from Ambers. See Canzoneri ripping right uppercuts inside? Canzoneri's about to... See? Ambers was shaken up a bit. And here comes the first knockdown. Watch Canzoneri connect with a right, sending Ambers down. Up at the count of 2, he catches another right, sending him down for another 2 count. Ambers could have remained down for a count of 9, but he's hurt and groggy. Just a few more seconds remaining in round 3. A big round for Canzoneri. The final round. Tony Canzoneri, with a white stripe on his trunks, versus Lou Ambers for the world's lightweight title. Watch Canzoneri connect with a hard right for a flash knockdown. Ambers won the last 2 rounds, and he seems not the least bit discouraged by Canzoneri's greater punching power. They move to close quarters where Ambers tries his patented left uppercut. Lou is way behind. His strategy has not paid off. All his speed, youth, and maneuverability have been ineffective against the older, more experienced Canzoneri. Lou misses with both hands, then ties up Tony. Watch Tony's left. See it? That was a fast left to the body. Look at Tony. He's wailing away with his right, even though his left arm is locked. Ambers, about to catch a left to the face, delivers a right to the ear. They smother each other inside, and it's all over. No one at ringside questioned the outcome of this classic. It remained only for ring announcer Joe Humphreys to proclaim that the former champion Tony Canzoneri had regained the world's lightweight crown. May 28, 1935, Madison Square Garden Bowl, Long Island City, New York. Referee Dempsey has them touch gloves for the final round. It's welterweight champion Jimmy McLarnin versus challenger Barney Ross in the solid black trunks in the last round of their rubber match. Ross is rough and tough. He's always willing to close with the champion. But McLarnin, though he's behind, is the more skillful boxer. Barney has maintained his aggressiveness, and he's thrown more punches. And that's the main reason for his lead at this point. Here comes a heavy barrage by Ross. But look at McLarnin fight back. You'll see McLarnin land some powerful long blows later in the round. The champion carries the heavier punch, and he'll make full use of a well-sustained body attack. McLarnin has Ross near the ropes. Watch Jimmy uncork his body attack. That will take the steam out of Ross and force him to hold on. Ross is holding. He's tired, while McLarnin is finishing strongly. Ross on the left receives another body blast, but he's in there pitching too. Both working on the body, and now Ross forces McLarnin to the ropes. You can see Ross is tired. Watch him lean on McLarnin while tying up the champion. McLarnin's body blows have slowed down Barney Ross. And now, in the middle of this fight, they'll slug it out toe-to-toe, with McLarnin doing the most damage. Watch. It's all over. Ross regained the welterweight crown. May 28, 1935.
Baer, former heavyweight champion, meets Joe Louis, the young, sensational brown bomber, in a scheduled 15-round bout. Here we are in round one. Baer with a star on his trunks. He's taller and bigger than Louis. Baer is 210 pounds tonight. Louis is 198. The big question tonight is, can Baer's powerful right hand stop the brown bomber? For weeks, the entire sports world has been arguing about it. Baer's fans are confident. He knocked out the giant Primo Carnera, and he also knocked out. They figure his experience is too much. Joe Louis is confident, too. He's got a very impressive record. In his short career of pro, and he's won them all, 19 by knockout, and most of those within 5 rounds. Yankee Stadium jammed to the rafters tonight. 84,000 fans, and a gate over $1 million. The first $1 million gate since the famous Dempsey-Tunney long count battle in Chicago 8 years before. Everyone's stunned by the fury of Louis's attack. The bell, and it saves Maxey from a knockout. Now round 3. You can never tell what's on Louis's mind from the expression on his face. It's like a mask. Baer's down. That last hard right to the jaw did it. Up at the count of 9. Three lightning left hooks to the jaw. The bell saves Maxey for the second time. Now round 4 coming up. Just look at the power in Louis's left jab. It snaps Baer's head back every time it lands. The first knockdown was a right to the jaw, the second from the left, and this one another right. This Louis packs dynamite in both hands. Now let's take a good look at the knockout in slow motion. Baer has absolutely no defense against Louis's lightning fast punching. Before the fight, Louis said he'd knock Baer out in 7 rounds. It's taken him less than 4. The referee picks up the count from the official timekeeper across the ring. that's it. It's all over. Joe Louis defeats former champion Max Baer in less than 12 minutes of fighting. Meets Tommy Farr, popular challenger from Wales, in a 15-round bout for the title. Louis won the title from Jimmy Braddock exactly 2 months and 4 days before this fight. This is the first time in history that a new heavyweight champion has put his title on the line so soon after winning it. For a 4-to-1 underdog, Farr's done very well tonight. Louis is hurt. That first overhand right caught him smack on the jaw. This is a surprise. No one thought Farr would be this good. Joe looks all right now. He's come out of that fog. The end of round 8. 15th and final round of this title bout. In 8 years as a professional fighter, Farr's won 35 decisions, scored 19 knockouts, and fought 7 draws. He's lost 10. He's been an in-and-outer, but tonight, the blue chips are down. This is for the title. Incidentally, both are only 23 years old, the youngest fighters ever to meet for the heavyweight championship of the world. The only blot on Louis's record is his knockout by Max Schmeling the year before. Never saw so many left jabs. Almost automatically, the moment one starts a left jab, the other's left hand shoots out 2. Also been some sharp counterpunching by both men. It's been a fast, clean fight. Very little holding or clinching. Farr's left eye is badly cut. It's starting to close. His right eye is also damaged a bit. Louis's right eye is a little swollen, but Farr's face looks badly chopped up. The bell and the end of the fight. Farr's handlers are very excited. They think he won. Here's the official announcement. Joe Louis wins his first title defense as world's heavyweight champion. Joe is ahead as we go into round 4 of this 15-round bout between Joe Louis, the Brown, and ex-heavyweight champion Max Schmeling at Yankee Stadium, New York. Joe Louis is the leading contender for Jimmy Braddock's heavyweight title. In fact, Louis and Braddock have already been matched to meet. Tonight's bout with Schmeling is figured as just a warm-up for Louis. That right cross hurt Louis. He's rocky. Two. Schmeling keeps throwing his right cross over Louis's left. Joe carries that left low. That might be the secret weakness Schmeling said he found in Joe. The end of round 4. Now here we are in round 10. Louis is stunned again. It's that same overhand right that knocked Joe down in the 4th round. Low left hook by Lewis. Joe's warned by the referee. That blow is not intentional. One thing that's always sure about the Brown Bomber, he's a clean fighter. Schmeling looking for one big opening for the finish. But Lewis keeps fighting back, almost mechanically. Schmeling's boxing superiority over Lewis tonight is the biggest surprise in many years. 40,000 people here in Yankee Stadium are stunned. Lewis's face is badly swollen. The end of round 10, now round 12. Lewis hardly seems to know what he's doing. He's dazed, hurt, fighting mechanically. Lewis rocked down his heels again. You've got to hand it to the kid for his great courage. The official timekeeper is counting the seconds across the ring. That's it, it's a knockout. The biggest upset in modern ring history. June 22nd, 1938, Yankee Stadium, New York. Heavyweight champion Joe Louis meets Max Schmeling of Germany for the second time. 2 years before, in the same stadium, Schmeling knocked Lewis out in 12 rounds. One of the most astounding upsets in all ring history. It was the first time anyone had knocked out the Brown Bomber, and Joe has always claimed that knockout was a fluke. A huge crowd of 85,000 is tremendously tense and excited. And here we go into round 1. This fight is of great international political importance. When Schmeling knocked Lewis out 2 years before, Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler hailed Schmeling's victory as proof of Aryan racial supremacy. But if the Brown Bomber can turn the tables tonight, it'll be a severe blow to Hitler's racial propaganda. Joe's older and wiser now. He's stacked up 11 straight victories since that first Schmeling fight. Now watch the real fury with which Lewis punches Schmeling into a helpless hulk. Schmeling's strength is sapped by the power and fury of Joe's punching. Schmeling sags against the rope, starts to fall, regains his feet. And the referee counts over him just as though he were on the floor. Man alive, he almost tore Schmeling's head off. Max is down again. A crashing right, and Schmeling is down. closer look at the sizzling action, the fury of Joe's attack. Look at that power in that right to the side of the head. Over like a bag of flour. But it's not over. Schmeling has courage. He's up at the count of 3. Now watch Joe's combination punching, this mixing of lefts and rights. Schmeling hits the deck again. But he won't stay down. Lewis almost tears Max's head off with a knockout blow. Only 2 minutes and 4 seconds before, Max Schmeling stepped into the ring, strong, powerful, confident. He'd be the new heavyweight champion. Now look at him, a wreck of a man. Third time, there's a towel torn in from his corner. It's all over. Schmeling, a horribly beaten man. He's taken the worst beating in the shortest time in all ring history. So Joe Louis proves his right to wear the heavyweight crown.
It's March 14th, 1956. Carmen Basilio is defending his world welterweight title against slick boxing Johnny Sexton in Chicago. The fighters get last-minute instructions from the referee. Carmen Basilio in white trunks comes out for round 1. Challenger Johnny Saxton is wearing black. Two sharp boxers in there. Basilio won the welterweight title from Tony DeMarco by a knockout in June of 1955, 1 year ago. He defended against DeMarco in November, just 6 months ago, winning by another knockout. Basilio by nature is a southpaw. He fights here, though, with the orthodox stance. A good right by Johnny Saxton. Basilio holds on. Basilio watching out for that sneak right, and there it is again. Johnny Saxton looking very sharp here in round 1. Good rights by champion Basilio. Both fighters using sharp, crisp left jabs. Basilio looking very sharp here in round number 1. And there's the bell. Basilio scored well to win round 2. Rounds 3 and 4 were scored evenly. Going into round 5, it's still very close. Johnny Saxton in black trunks beat Kid Gavilan by a decision in the 15th round in October 1954, 2 years ago, to gain the world welterweight title. Saxton then lost the title 6 months later to Tony DeMarco when he was KO'd by DeMarco in the 14th round. Challenger Saxton in black trunks at 25 years of age is 2 years younger than Basilio, who is 27. Sharp jabs by Basilio, and Saxton comes right back with jabs of his own. Dynamite punches by champion Carmen Basilio. Basilio definitely had the better of that exchange. At 5 feet 9 inches tall, has a 3-inch height advantage over the champion. Both fighters are originally from New York City. Saxton doesn't want to give champion Basilio much punching room. And there's the end of round 5. In rounds 6 through 9, both fighters box cautiously, looking for an opening. Here in round 10, it's still very close. Johnny Saxton, at 17 years of age, won the New York Golden Gloves and National AAU welterweight titles. Johnny was a whirlwind as an amateur. Champion Basilio. Carmen's first attempt at the welterweight title was a 15-round loss to Kid Gavilan in 1953, almost 3 years ago. It was a sensational fight, with Gavilan winning a very close decision. Basilio is now pressing the action. Both fighters have laid off for the past 7 months. Basilio's last fight was his title defense against DeMarco last September. Saxton beat hard-punching Ralph Tiger Jones in 10 rounds at Oakland also last September, 7 months ago. In rounds 11 through 12, Basilio boxed smartly, while Saxton came back with sharp rights to win rounds 13 and 14. Going into round 15, it's anybody's fight. both fighters tired clinching here in round 15. A little wrestling there. Saxton's very tired here in the final round. The referee breaks the two fighters. Saxton trying to capture the eyes of the judges here in round 15. The bell ending this great fight. The judge's decision goes to Johnny Saxton.
World heavyweight champion Primo Carnera made the second defense of his crown against Tommy Loughran. The 270-pound Carnera was 84 pounds heavier than Loughran. And despite the fact that Tommy is 7 inches shorter, his boxing technique puts him ahead of the Man Mountain early in the fight. A battle of brawn versus brains. Cagey and fast, Loughran watches every opening to use his stinging right. He rocks Carnera time and again. Earlier in the fight, Tommy took rounds 2, 3, and 4, giving him a good lead. Outclassed, Carnera roughhouses with a backhand. He's pressuring, trying to work Loughran into a corner where the lighter man cannot maneuver well. 4 years older than Carnera, Tommy is 31, old for a heavyweight challenger. When Primo can get Tommy in a corner, he clubs and mauls away, trying to wear down the smaller man by sheer power. Loughran has taken some solid punches. However, Carnera usually scores only when his opponent is more or less stationary. The champ's bull-like strength is proving too much for Tommy. Loughran backtracks, trying to last the 15 rounds. He ducks a left and sidesteps as Carnera reels across the ring. The final round, and there is little doubt as to the outcome. Dapreem's stamina and size wore down the challenger. Carnera retains his crown against a game and clever Tommy Loughran, who dared to take on the ponderous champ and give him a boxing lesson. It was a different story for Carnera 3 months later when he faced a man nearer his own size. A big 6'3", Max Baer is still 3 inches shorter than Dapreem and 54 pounds lighter. Max's power punch topples Carnera in the first round. Baer rushes in to follow through and again punches the giant to the ropes. Carnera's one thought is to get away from Baer's lethal punches. The referee intercedes, points Baer to a neutral corner. Max steps away but returns to launch an attack with both hands. Carnera is trying to keep his left out to fend off the attack. The champ went into the ring a general favorite. He was considered too big and powerful for Baer, but they didn't tell Max. Baer moves in and explodes with both hands. Carnera goes down, pulling Baer with him. It's like a wrestling match. Max is all over the giant. He follows left with right, and for the third time, both are down. Later, Baer admitted he had been over-anxious to put Carnera away and had forgotten some of the polish that had made him one of the best boxers of the era. Carnera does better midway in the fight. Max uncorks his right-hand bomb, and Duprene's in trouble again. As the referee moves to stop the fight, the crowd protests, and Baer's seconds yell, "Let him fight!" Baer moves in with the right and the left and sends Carnera to the canvas again. Carnera is floored 3 times in the 10th, but he refuses to take even a breather. He has heart, but Carnera is up against Max, the giant killer. In the 11th, Max knows he has the crown in his grasp as he pounds away. An overhand right sends Primo down for a 2 count. That's the 12th time Carnera has gone down. Baer follows up his advantage, but watch. As they break, Carnera speaks to the referee. He's had enough. Max Baer is the new world heavyweight champion. Just a year later, Baer defends his title against challenger Jimmy Braddock. The Irishman was the Cinderella man of boxing. He was considered a has-been. Baer was disdainful of the challenger. Max went into the ring a 10-1 favorite, and he clowned his way through most of the fight. Braddock had started his comeback a year earlier. The night that Max had flattened Carnera, Braddock had won an upset victory over Corn Griffin in a preliminary bout on the same card. Braddock boxes masterfully on the defense, using a consistent left jab and blocking or ducking Max's ponderous swings. As Baer moves in, Braddock lands counter punches to the head. Baer is still clowning as the fight passes the halfway mark, mocking Braddock's punches and dropping his guard. Braddock is leading in rounds 1, the way fights were scored then, and Maxie can ill afford to fool around. Braddock is carrying the fight to Baer, who displays none of the devastating power that he unleashed in the Carnera fight. Baer's only hope of winning is by a knockout, but Braddock is boxing cautiously, giving Max no opening. At the 12th, Max knows he's trailing badly, and he gets desperate. He keeps pounding his right to the ribs, but Braddock is taking all he can dish out. Baer wraps his right around Jimmy's neck and tries to belt him with a left. He laughs off protests from Braddock's corner. An overhand by Baer at the bell gives Braddock another round. The final round. There have been no knockdowns in the fight, and Baer knows he has lost unless he can knock Braddock out. The referee, coming in to break the clinch, gets a cup on the ear from Baer. They punch toe-to-toe as Baer tries for a kill. The fans are on their feet screaming encouragement to Braddock. No champion ever successfully defended his crown in Long Island City Bowl, and Baer is about to join the ranks of those who lost their titles here. Braddock's smart, determined fight is bringing him the heavyweight championship as they slug it out right to the bell. The 10-1 underdog scores the upset of the decade. James J. Braddock, the man who made ring history with his fists.
for Lewis, 6 rounds for Walcott. The winner by majority vote, and still the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis.
Jack Johnson, heavyweight champion of the world, defends his title against Stanley Ketchel in a scheduled 20-round bout. Johnson, much the larger man, he's 209 pounds to Ketchel's 160. A 49-pound weightful for the big champion. When Stanley Ketchel, the middleweight champion, challenged Johnson, the whole world became interested in the outcome of this fight. Jack Johnson won the heavyweight title in Australia 10 months before this fight, when he knocked out Tommy Burns. Since then, Johnson has defeated all heavyweight contenders. Stanley Ketchel is known both as the Michigan Marble and the Michigan Assassin. He's a great two-fisted puncher. The end of round 1. It's pretty hot under this California sun, and the seconds get to work right away. These men hate one another. There's a lot of bitterness between them. Before the fight, Ketchel said some nasty things about Johnson, and Johnson said he was going to punish Ketchel for it, cut him up badly, and then knock him out. When Johnson fought Tommy Burns in Australia, Jack gave Burns such a terrible beating that the police stopped the fight in the 14th round to save Tommy's life. Ketchel is down. That was a terrific right to the jaw. Takes a count of 5. He looks all right. He's still got a lot of fight left in him. Ketchel's seconds keep yelling at him to cover up and make Johnson lead. But Ketchel keeps carrying the fight to Johnson. Ketchel had figured he could beat Johnson by getting in close and hitting to the body, but it hasn't worked so far. Johnson's been holding him off and outboxing him. When Ketchel does get in close, Johnson ties him up. The end of round 2. In the next 5 rounds, Ketchel keeps carrying the fight to Johnson. The champion seems overly cautious. The referees count. Stanley Ketchel, the Michigan Assassin, is his heavyweight championship of the world.
Tom Gibbons, brilliant heavyweight boxer, takes on the fast-rising young Marine, Gene Tunney. Seated in his corner, Gibbons waits confidently. Across the ring, Tunney looks equally sure of himself. As round 1 gets underway, Gene doesn't waste any time, using that left hand like a rapier. Gibbons is going to have to pursue his younger opponent. He knows that it's going to take an accurate head and body attack to slow down the brilliant boxing ex-Marine. Gibbons has certainly got his work cut out for him, as he's a 34-year-old veteran compared to the 27-year-old Gene Tunney, who is considered to be in the very prime of his great career. Gibbons turned professional in 1911 and has had 106 professional fights in the past 14 years, winning 104 and losing only 2. This is one of the most fantastic records in the history of boxing. Tom has fought 3 no-decision contests with the great Harry Greb. During that period of time, the only way a fighter could win was by the knockout route. If both fighters were standing on their feet at the end of 10 rounds, there was no decision rendered. But after those 3 fights with Harry Greb, newspapermen were unable to agree whether Greb or Gibbons had won on points. That's how close they were. Round 1 draws to a close with Tunney getting the edge on his relentlessly accurate jab. Here in round 4, Gene takes on somewhat of a different strategy. Notice how it's Tunney who is now moving forward. He has apparently decided to step up the pace. This is a surprise to everyone. It was thought that Gibbons, a marvelous boxer himself, would have to chase the younger Tunney. But it's Gene, out-punching Gibbons at the rate of 3 and 4 to 1. That sharp left jab of Tunney's is constantly keeping Tom off balance. Gene isn't letting Tom get any type of an attack underway. Tunney turned professional in 1915 at the tender age of 17. Even then, he was 6 feet 1/2 inch tall and weighed 170 pounds. He had 15 professional fights, winning all, prior to joining the Marines in 1919. After winning all types of boxing honors during his service career, Gene came out of the Corps and took up where he left off. In 1920, he had 12 professional prize fights, winning them all, 9 by KOs. Here in the beginning of round 12, Tunney has taken complete command over the aging veteran Tom Gibbons. Gene is showing the strength and confidence which has carried him to 76 victories in 77 professional prize fights. It's all Tunney now. Jabs, hooks, straight right hands. Gibbons is reeling under the constant pressure. Gene steps in and lands a tremendous right-hand punch to the jaw, flooring Gibbons for the first time in his professional career. The referee's count reaches 8. Tunney moves in quickly and lands 2 smashing right hands to the head, which put Gibbons down for the second time. Tunney goes to a neutral corner as the referee moves in to toll the final 10. As Gibbons gets to his feet, Tunney moves in to console and congratulate his dejected opponent. 15 months later, this same Gene Tunney will become the 8th heavyweight champion of the world.
Gene Tunney, world's heavyweight champion, defends his title against Tom Heaney of New Zealand in a scheduled 15-round bout. We're in round 1. Tunney, the taller man, with a crew haircut. Tunney's 191 pounds tonight. Heaney, 198. Thousand fans here at Yankee Stadium tonight. Even though Tunney beat the great Jack Dempsey 9 months before for the second time, many fight fans still think Tunney is not of championship caliber. He's got to beat Heaney to prove himself. Tunney's a master boxer, but tonight he's up against a tough slugger. Heaney is really rugged. They call him the Hard Rock from down under. Now round 10. Tunney's one of the fastest men ever to hold the heavyweight championship. And he can hit from any position. Heaney's hurt. He's down, but the bell saves him. Now let's take a better look at Heaney's knockdown. 2 fast jabs and a right cross find their mark. He's knocked to the canvas, and he's out cold down the ring apron. But he's saved by the bell. Now round 11. The 60,000 fans are now cheering for Tunney. He's proving to all the world that he really is a great champion. Heaney's eye bleeding again, and he's badly tired, badly punished, but he's got plenty of heart. The referee stops the fight. It's all over. Gene Tunney, the winner by a TKO, and still the world's heavyweight champion.
Hello, boxing fans. This is Bill Stern, official film sports reporter, bringing you dramatic highlights from famous fights of yesteryear. For this one, we take you back to the old Madison Square Garden. In the night, Big Bill Brennan met Louis Angel Firpo, Argentina's famed wild bull of the Pampas. Firpo here for a shot at the great Manasseh Mauler and a chance to take that title back to South America. A big, awkward, stumbling sort of a fighter, but definitely a threat. And this was one of the milestones that led to his eventual meeting with Dempsey. Brennan gave Jack plenty of trouble when the two squared off in the same old arena. And the veteran warrior is trying to prove his right to stay with the top-notchers. For 10, yes, 11 rounds, Brennan has the edge on Firpo. This same Firpo, who almost won the heavyweight crown when he knocked Jack Dempsey through the ropes that memorable night in New York's Polo Ground. But Brennan will get in the way of Firpo's right. And the Firpo, well, his right is something that the South Americans are writing home about. In fact, neither of them are exactly tossing powder puff blows, and the battle is hard fought and close every inch of the way. Comes this, the fateful 12th. Brennan's edge on the Latin is waning. All Firpo wants is to land one of those terrific rights, and he'll close up shop for the night. Call it luck or call it skill. The wild bull finally tosses one of those haymakers, and Brennan hits the canvas, hardly knowing what landed on him. Firpo is waved to a neutral corner. And as the referee chants the count, it's all over. Brennan is wilted and whipped. He can't move. The referee has to help him to his corner. Dramatic finale to a career as colorful and promising as any man ever to enter the ring. There in the center of the ring are two of the gamest little fighters and sportsmen ever to hit the cauliflower circuit, Barney Ross and Billy Patrol. Ross, the youngster who went on to rule the light and welterweight divisions, one of the greatest champs the fight world has ever known. Meeting tonight in the New York Coliseum, they're dynamos in action, fleet, fast, dazzling with the accuracy of their footwork and timely punching. It's a whirlwind of action. Patrol seeking to scale the heights, and Barney, a tough, wiry Chicagoan, just as determined that no Billy Patrol is going to block his path to glory. No pulling the punches between these two. They're scrappers right from the gong. You'd think a title was at stake. Round 6 of the scheduled 10-round go. And do you think they're slowing up? Not these two. That Patrol is a punching fool, and Barney calls on every bit of skill and ring strategy at his command. Although Ross went on to become champion of the world, experts rate this one of the grandest, gamest, cleanest, most exciting battles of his career. Not even the Ross, who drew the biggest welterweight gate on record, tops the performance he's turning in here tonight. Round 10, this is the finale, and boy, it's good. Barney's steady, consistent pounding has left its mark. Billy is jarred and jarred badly. These little youngsters are for all the world like fighting cocks. They stay right in there until one or the other tosses the final decisive blow. I'm going to stop talking for just a minute so you can watch this exciting finale. great fight between two great little guys. Affectionately, Barney puts his arm around Patrol like a couple of amateurs. Fighting for glory, they exhibit the spirit that's always characterized true sportsmen. Joe Humphreys raises Barney's hand, and the crowd knows that the best man won. This is one they're still talking about. For the first few rounds, Sharkey looked like a 100-to-1 winner. For 2 rounds, Dempsey's wobbly knees are looking just like they did in Philadelphia. But Dempsey, still smarting beneath the Marines' victory, is determined to blast Sharkey off the map. The Manasseh Mauler is now the killer of old. He launches a left for Sharkey's face. And the ex-cob throws himself to the canvas, yelling the old familiar cry of foul. Was it foul? Did Jack Dempsey really land an illegal blow? Here are the slow-motion scenes depicting the action leading up to and including that momentous climax. Sharkey has been complaining to referee Jack O'Sullivan that Dempsey's body punches are low. The ringside experts say the ex-cob got the left on the nose that sent him to the canvas when he forgot the first law of the ring: never take your eyes from an opponent. Okay, whatever the verdict, here's your chance to see for yourself. You'll be the judge. Now watch closely. Here it comes. That's the way we saw it. Sharkey turned his head and woke up on the canvas. Whatever happened to Sharkey, Dempsey won the decision. A knockout that went a long way towards putting him on the comeback road for his return bout with Gene Tunney. An evening long to be remembered. Turn back the clock to 1935. That clean, good-looking colored boy is Joe Louis. His opponent, Kingfish Levinsky, a tough, slugging heavyweight from the sidewalks of the big city. Levinsky, a seasoned gladiator, cocky and assured, waves to his pals. A pushover, yeah, but for whom? Even then, the Joe Louis, who was to reap fame and fortune as the deadly brown bomber, showed not one spark of fear or emotion as he awaited the clanging of the gong. But now that the gong has sounded and the mighty Kingfish takes a stance in the center of the ring, you can see that even then the word was out. This guy Louis is a killer. Stay away, stay away. Levinsky's scared to death. Never tossing an effective blow, the big palooka's down and bounces back, paralyzed with fright. From what Louis did to him that night, and to a long line of those who faced him in the years to come, we can hardly blame him. Louis tied him up, hammered him with rights and lefts to the head and body. The outcome is as plain as the nose on poor Levinsky's face. There he goes again. Pounded, clouted, hammered to the canvas with all the force at the colored boy's command. Levinsky's a battered soul who probably wishes he'd have stood in bed. For those who've seen the champ fight, this is but a harbinger of things to come. And for Levinsky, they come none too soon. Sitting on the ropes, he's had enough. One round and the Kingfish is willing to let Louis have the crown in all the glory. Turn back the clock. It's 1933. It's also one of the last appearances in the ring of the late Joe Humphreys, the most colorful fight announcer ever to grace the squared circle. They just couldn't start a big match in those days without Joe bringing them out. Listen.
15 rounds. Principal. Winner to meet the champion in June. The Italian Goliath. Turbo Kenner.
And what an ill-fated clash this turned out to be. The man mountain from Italy, 6 feet 7 inches of towering Goliath, versus plucky Ernie Schaaf. Few realize that tragedy is stalking the arena as these great potential candidates for the heavyweight championship battle it out in the center of the ring. Schaaf, as perfect a fighting machine as ever laced on a glove, definitely a contender for the title. Schaaf, one of the gamest, cleanest scrappers of all time. And what few people know, as he stands there taking the murderous blows of the 264-pound giant, is that Schaaf is ill. Not long out of a sick bed, he should never have entered the ring. The experts could see it, and the longer the bout went, the more apparent it became that Carnero would crumble his opponent to the canvas. Johnny Buckley, Ernie's manager, left it to the boy, and Ernie gamely insisted that a contract was a contract. He'd agreed to fight, and fight he did. The powerful, lumbering Carnero never gave him a chance. Fate has destined the awkward Italian to wear the brief mantle of fame. Some destiny, some power, something way back in the cards has decreed that there is the next heavyweight champion of the world. But tonight there are few stars in Primo's crown. He's winning, yes, but against what odds? He's climbing a ladder over a boy who doesn't know the meaning of the word quit. Through 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 grueling rounds, the plucky Schaaf stands up to his opponent. It can't last much longer. Carnero launching a terrific left. Schaaf is down. He's in utter collapse. The mob howls for the kill. They've come for a Roman holiday, and they've not been cheated. Little do they know that Ernie Schaaf has fought his last fight, that he'll be carried from the ring to die. And as Primo's great arm is lifted in the traditional symbol of victory, a game little guy makes his final exit from the world of Fistiana. No history of Fistiana is complete without the sensation that rocked the sporting world here in Philadelphia's vast, rain-soaked sesquicentennial stadium that memorable night back in September 1926. Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, conqueror of giants and reputedly the hardest hitter of all time, versus Gene Tunney for the championship of the world. For 7 long years, William Harrison Dempsey has reigned as king of all heavyweights. Tonight, that mastery is being disputed by an unknown Marine, a fighting, scientific boxing leatherneck from the sidewalks of New York. When Dempsey took the title from Jess Willard on that never-to-be-forgotten July the 4th, 1919, Gene Tunney was fighting his first match. That he's come a long way in a hurry is evidenced by the fact that these two men have lured the nearest thing to a $2 million gate the sport world has ever heard of. It's a Tex Rickard promotion, and boy, back in those days, Tex knew how to put them on. The records he's hit have never been topped, but let's get back to the ring. Tunney, a brilliant boxer and a great puncher, personifies ring perfection. Tunney the boxer versus Dempsey the slugger. The weaving, crouching, dodging Dempsey, who's lost only 3 fights in all his long and colorful career. For Tunney, it's his greatest effort. Primed and ready, takes advantage of every opening, shooting punches that rock the champ on his now very wobbly legs. For Jack, this is a new experience. Usually, he's the one who's dishing it out. But this Marine has Jack's number. Round by round, he wears Dempsey down. By the 10th, the once invincible Manasseh Mauler is almost out. Time and again, the referee breaks him apart as Jack hangs on, praying for the bell. 10 rounds it goes, and the decision sees a new heavyweight win his laurels. Joseph Eugene Tunney, today the only retired undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. Basilio, rugged, hard-hitting Italian-American from Hartford, Connecticut, defending his title against one of the most beautiful boxing punching combinations ever to step into a ring. Aligi Sardinas, they call him in Havana, but New York and the world knows him only as Kid Chocolate, the patent leather kid, the bonbon boy from Cuba. Sleek of hair, sleek of action, his every move a picture of perfection. Against the brilliant arc spotlighting the Madison Square Garden Arena this memorable night, Chocolate's body flashes back and forth across the ring in pursuit of the featherweight crown. Like jumping jacks maneuvered by invisible strings, the fighters dance through one of the fastest boxing exhibitions on record. Both are like lightning. Both possess the ring craft, the speed, the ultimate in punching ability to be found only in the light 126-pound athlete. The last last round. Both fighters know that for one or the other, this is the end. And win or lose, the fans here tonight have seen a real fight, cleanly waged between two of the greatest athletes and sportsmen ever to trod the rosin path. Chocolate ready to scale the heights, Basilio determined to stay there. Only the ripping, slashing attack, the bulldog tenacity of the Connecticut man is able to survive everything the idolized has to offer. Basilio wins the decision, one of the greatest featherweight classics of all time.
Tonight, Jack Dempsey battles Jess Willard.
1919, a year of drama. Big things are happening. The King of England and the Prince of Wales review the captured German fleet at Scapa Flow. Clemenceau and Wilson, Lloyd George and Orlando write history in the Treaty of Versailles. Rough Rider Theodore Roosevelt, that great advocate of Americanism, has gone to his last rest. In the world of sport, Babe Ruth, the home run king, is sold by the Red Sox to the Yankees for a fabulous sum. But 1919's big moment is about to take place. A heavyweight championship match between Jess Willard and the comparatively unknown Jack Dempsey. That's news, big and exciting news. And the man responsible for it is promoter Tex Rickard, the silent adventurer from Alaskan mining camps and South American pampas with his genius for ballyhoo and publicity. In Dempsey, he has a sensational young tiger with amazing speed and two murderous hands. In Willard, the biggest man to hold the title under Marquis of Queensberry rules. Jess has the muscles of a wrestler and the sheer power of a raging bull when his temper's aroused. He stands 6 feet 6 inches in height and weighs 240 pounds. His great arching chest measures 56 inches. Though half a foot taller and 50 pounds heavier than his rival, the tall pine of the Potawatomi is rated only a 5-4 favorite over the Manassas Mauler.
The big fight begins in just a moment.
The 70,000 spectators pack around the ring in the blistering sunshine. The championship belt of gold and silk is paraded for all to see, symbol of every heavyweight king from John L. to Willard himself. Gloves have been brought out now and fitted to their big-boned hands. The referee, Ollie Picord, calls Willard and Dempsey from their corners for instruction. Now you can see what a difference there is in their size. Though a great athlete, the bronze challenger seems almost puny next to the giant he's about to fight. They listen quietly, almost without interest, to a story they know by heart. Sweat beading shoulders and forehead. The crowd waits tensely. Who'll win? Willard with his fine jab and smashing uppercut, or Dempsey with his speed and the best left hook of all time? Round one coming up. The timekeeper jerks his bell cord. Somehow it jams, and Willard doesn't hear the faint sound over the excited yelling. He pauses, looks around, puzzled, doubtful. Say, what's going on around her anyhow? Where's the bell? There it is. So the big fight begins, and Big Jess moves easily into action. The mahogany-hued Dempsey circles, moving in and out with cat-footed quickness. The champion wants to keep Jack at long range with his poking left jab, but Dempsey won't let him do it. He's never still for an instant, bobbing and weaving around. It looks like a test of speed against power, and Willard has no chance to get set against Dempsey's speed. At such a pace, there's a lot of missing and a lot of clinching. It's bound to be that way, but it's only a warm-up so far. Each is trying to figure out the other's defense, to open him up, nail him with a punch. The challenger crowds keeps on crowding. The instant he's in the open, he moves back again. His left whips in tirelessly and often. The blows miss or graze Willard. Dempsey hasn't the range yet. Jess holds whenever he can, but that's Jack's meat. Nobody's strong enough to tie him up for long, and trying to hit him is like trying to hit a sunbeam that moves away. Dempsey's hands are in motion all the time. Willard tries to block with gloves and forearms and elbows, but he's compelled constantly to retreat. What else can he do against the endlessly moving little man? And when you're going away, you can't do much damage yourself. A champion is supposed to make the fight, but try as he will, it's far beyond Big Jess. But he hasn't been hurt yet. For all the charging, for all the blows, the tall pine has suffered no injury. He's clever, knows how to handle himself, and in spite of his great size, he moves around quickly and gracefully. No, the little man won't get him. They maneuver around the center of the ring. Now watch. There's that big left, and Willard's down. Up, sure he's up. Dempsey hurt him along the rope, beating away with both hands. There's that blast again, and Willard's on the floor for the second time. The champion's dazed, groggy, but he's game. He's up again. The fist drumming on him. And down he goes. Falls along the floor like a wounded animal, crouching with his back half turned as he arises. The mauler overwhelms him with a hysterical burst of fury that sends him to the floor for the fourth time. Dempsey stands over the stricken man, his fist cracked. The instant Willard's knees were off the floor, Jack at him again. Jess is wide open. He has absolutely no defense. And he hits the deck again. Courage, just plain courage, instinct, whatever it is, flings him blind and staggering up to his feet. Willard reels around the ring, powerless, with Dempsey pumping rights and lefts into him. Clear across the opposite corner, and there he's taking it again. How can the man stand it? And there he falls, his gloved hand feeling for the rope, trying to hold himself up. Then, painfully, he drags his racked body to a half-erect position. But a right smashes into his side. Other rights crash to the head, and Willard collapses into a sitting position, dazed and helpless, after the most murderous beating a man ever took in the ring. And there's the bell. But no one hears it. Dempsey turns away. He seems doubtful, puzzled. Turns and others rush jubilantly into the rope square. It's all over. The quickest heavyweight knockout on record. Jack hurries out of the ring to avoid the crowd. But the timekeeper and referee Ollie Picord are yelling that it's not over. The bell had sounded before Big Jess was counted out. Where is the challenger anyway? Willard's chief second, Walter Monahan, and the other handlers have leaped into the ring to bring their man too. The champion seems helpless, but technically the fight is still on. Doc turns, rushes to the rope. Jack, hey Dempsey, come back, come back. Round two, and the bell sounds again. Amazingly enough, Willard rises for the second round. Beaten as no man ever has been, he advances into Dempsey's raging fist. He jabs as though any jab could keep that tiger away from him. With all his wearied, broken body, Jess does his best to keep going. Why? It's no use. He hasn't a chance. But there's the tradition of all champions behind him. He has to fight even when he has nothing left to fight with. Jess may not have been a great champion, but no braver man ever laced on a pair of gloves. If he quit under punishment, no one would blame him. It's courage, nothing but magnificent courage that's holding him on his feet. No matter what he does, he can't get away from that tiger who's stalking him. His arms and legs are heavy with exhaustion. Salt sweat burns the gashes Dempsey's fists have opened. When Jack bores in and hits him, drives him around the ring, he can't muster enough strength for a dangerous punch in return. The seconds and minutes are ticking by faster and faster. There isn't much time left in the round. If he's to get his KO before the bell rings, he'll have to do it in a hurry. But Willard's only thought is to protect himself, and weak and tired as he is, it's no sense to get him set for the finishing punch, even when he's driven helplessly back against the rope. He wobbles about and clinches, does his best to save himself from his relentless foe. There are only a few seconds remaining now. No chance for a finishing blow. It's too late. Mauler spins the champion around out there in the center of the ring. But there's the bell, and referee Picord sends his men to the corner.
Back in just a moment.
Round three, and at the start of the third, there's no easing up in Dempsey's attack. His left hook still thunders. In the clinches, Willard is no longer strong enough to make even a pretense of blocking the uppercuts that shake and hurt him. Still, the clinches are the only sanctuary left him. Out in mid-ring, he's helpless. He's lost all coordination between brain and hand. His efforts are pitiful. He was big and good-looking and smiling when he came into the ring. Now he's a lurching, tottering wreck of a man. Dempsey beats at him, in the body, shifting his attack for a moment from that pitiful face. A new champion's being born here, born in the torrid heat among the yells of 70,000 spectators, born in blood and effort and pain. It's bad for Willard, taking the hammer blows of the ring's greatest puncher, but it's no picnic for the man who's winning either. His lungs strain, his heart beats in his throat, his arms are like lead, but still he carries on that deadly attack. He pours leather at the giant who should have gone down long ago, who would have gone down, but for the heart of a lion and the endurance of a buffalo. Even the spectators are beginning to flinch at the sight. This is no fight, it's a slaughter, a massacre. Big Jess has no more chance than a babe in arms. Look at the heavyweight champion of the world. His face is pounded almost to a pulp. His tired, dazed eyes peer through a mask of blood. It's dripped down over his body, stained his trunk, spotted his legs. Even Dempsey's smeared with the sanguinary fluid. Each time the Mauler goes into the clinch, he gets more of it. Why doesn't the referee stop it? Why? But Ollie Picord comes from the old school. There's only one way for a champion to finish, they say, and that's on his back. But the bloody, half-blinded Willard won't go down. Not even when the tiring Dempsey's blows stagger and hurt him more and more. And again, the seconds are running out. The round's nearly over. And the impossible has happened again. Big Jess has lasted through this another murderous round with this roaring Dempsey. Now coming up for round 4, but Willard can't come out for the 4th round. His nose and cheekbone are fractured, ribs broken, half a dozen teeth knocked out, and he's hardly strength enough to rise and shake hands with his conqueror. In this most unusual of fights, an idol has been born. Dempsey the Mauler. Unusual, every second of it. The bell failed to sound clearly at the start. The champion was knocked down 7 times in the 1st round. The challenger left the ring and had to be called back. Willard lost his title while sitting in his corner. Every minute is crammed with drama, as the ring is now with yelling, excited men. Dempsey's in everyone's minds and hearts. Dempsey the killer, Dempsey the champion. They'll see him in action for 8 flaming years to come.
World champion Bobo Olson wearing black trunks and Sugar Ray Robinson, the challenger, wearing white. It's the 2nd round of this middleweight championship fight in Chicago Stadium. For Olson, this is the 3rd time he's faced Sugar Ray. On both previous occasions, Robinson beat him. A lightning barrage of punches, and Olson hits the deck. Referee Sikora picks up the count. It's all over. For the 3rd time, Robinson is the middleweight champion of the world. Winner by a knockout in the 2nd round, Sugar Ray is once more the king of his division. A record coast crowd of 20,000 fans jam-packed Wrigley Field in Los Angeles to see the return bout for the middleweight championship of the world between Sugar Ray Robinson and Bobo Olson. It's the 4th round, and at this point, the champion leads Olson on all of the officials' cards. Referee Mushy Callahan breaks the 2 fighters. Robinson has the outstanding record of 137 wins against only 4 losses, 89 of those wins by KOs. Olson also can put him away, as proven by his 30 knockouts and his 65 victories. Now look out for trouble. A right and a crushing left, and Olson is flat on his back. Bobo rolls over but can't get up. 8, 9, 10. At 2 minutes and 51 seconds of the 4th round, Sugar Ray Robinson wins by a knockout and once again proves that he is one of the greatest champions the boxing game has ever known.
Round 4, the Manasseh Mauler floors the Philly help stay KO champion. 1923, Giant Jess Willard playing a comeback meets Louis Angel Firpo, Royal Bull of Pampas. The 2 Goliaths go to it in a slugging match that looks like anybody's fight for 8 exciting. Through the canvas for the count for Jess. Groggy but game to the last. Firpo's the winner. First from his victory, Willard. Firpo challenges the mighty Dempsey, and famed Joe Humphrey announces the fight of the Polo Ground. Dempsey versus Firpo. dynamite in any ring. And here goes the fireworks. Firpo was scored 7 times in this first hectic round. It looks as if the Manasseh Mauler's Fistic TNT is going to turn the Wild Bull of the Pampas into a Ferdinand. But Louis Angel is far beaten yet. He can take it. And how? Anything can happen in this slugging match. And does. Firpo knocks Dempsey right through the ropes into the laps of astounded ringsiders. Round 2. Dempsey, having tasted the sting of Firpo's power, comes out raging to end this most serious challenge to his title. The powerful right does the trick. Firpo is out, and Dempsey is still the champ. (1927). Paolino Uskadon, the Bass Woodchopper, and Harry Wheels, the Tiger Man, tangled in a slam-bang battle. Paolino connects, and the colored battler hits the rosin. But Harry's not content to rest on the canvas, so up he comes for more. Paolino connects again, and Harry's number goes up for good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out. A few months later, Jack Dempsey, who lost his title to Gentleman Gene Tunney the year before, hits the comeback trail in a return bout. This is the memorable fight of 1927 in Chicago that drew a record gain of more than $2 million. And you're at ringside, one of 104,000 frenzied fans, watching an inspired Dempsey boring in, trying to batter down Gene's skilled boxing defense. Dempsey flashes his form of old in the socking 7th and floors Tunney for the first time in Gene's career. Here in slow motion, we show you the famous long count when Lady Luck entered the ring to help Gene. The referee cannot officially count until the fighter on his feet goes to a neutral corner. A bewildered Dempsey is slow to heed the referee's motions as Tunney sits on the floor, dazed. During the long count, which some say took 14 seconds, we can see Tunney's glassy stare clear as his senses return. Gene waits, taking full advantage of the count of 9, before again facing the murderous onslaught of the Manasseh Mauler. And Tunney goes on to win a 10-round decision as Dempsey's legs give out. 1936. A dark comet streaks across the boxing skies. Joe Louis, Detroit Brown Bomber, and Max Schmeling, leading contenders of the day, swap punches in the fight. You will never... Round 4, the first unexpected thrill. Louis is knocked down. Round 12, the impossible happens. Maxie hangs a KO on the redoubtable Joe. The sporting world is stunned as Louis is counted out. Is he merely a pugilistic meteor, a flash in a pan? Will the star rise again? Rise again it does. 1938. Joe Louis, who meanwhile become heavyweight king by dethroning Braddock, again meets the man who conquered him. But this time Schmeling faces a different Louis, a world champion at his feet, cool, keen, and deadly. His title at stake, his kingdom to protect. He's out to fight the battle of his life. The Brown Bomber is determined to annihilate the Black Ulan in a boxing blitzkrieg. Sacco. Lewis lets the moxie have it. The champ starts hitting his opponent with everything but the chin sink. And if you ask Schmeling right now, he'll probably tell you the Brown Bomber's walloping him with the sink as well. Knockout, and still the first round. In just 1 minute and 39 seconds, Joe Louis is flattened his most formidable foe. The Brown Bomber remains the monarch of all he surveys in the squared ring. 1939, the boxing kingdom also has its stout-hearted jesters. Two-ton Tony Galento meets Joe Louis. In the very first round, Louis lands a hot one, and Tony goes down like 2 tons of bricks. Round 3, Galento knocks down the champ. What's this, Tony? Are you the ring's next man of destiny? But no, it's not to be. Round 4, and two-ton Tony takes it on the chin. And just about every place else as Joe Louis goes to work on him. The massacre was nothing compared to this. Technical KO. Referee Donovan stopped the fight, although two-ton Tony in a dressing room interview proved he's battered but unbowed.
You think Donovan was right in stopping the fight?
No, I should have knocked him out. That was my manager.
You think you had him when you knocked him down, Tony? You think
We had a punch and knocked him down.
What are you going to do now, Tony?
I'm going to get in good shape and fight my own fights, listen to nobody.
Is Madison Garden. Buddy Baer versus Jack Doyle in the battle's a thriller from the word go. Doyle, the widely heralded Irish thrush, is here seeking the heavyweight crown for his native land. Fighting Bob Fitzsimmons is the only man from the British Isles ever to garner the world's heavyweight belt, and right now Mr. Doyle looks far from being another fighting Bob. Baer, landing a hard body blow, folds the thrush like an accordion. But Doyle, again, they're sparring in the center of the ring. Jack is a little more cautious. He has a great arm's length and drives in at will. England, cradle of Fistiana, the England of Marquis of Queensberry, whose ethics rule the boxing world today, will have to look to somebody else other than Jack Doyle to bring home the bacon. Again, Buddy Baer throws a stinging right, follows with another. And Doyle kisses the canvas. The referee waves Buddy to a neutral corner. And again, surprising perhaps even himself, Doyle comes back for more. Buddy drives him almost through the ropes, floors him again, this time for the count of 4. Buddy can't give him the knockout drops, but this Doyle is a sadly beaten boy. That's enough, Buddy. 7 knockdowns in 1 round is enough excitement for anybody's money. Born Benjamin Lanier, the little Hebrew boy from the sidewalks of New York, has risen to become Benny Leonard, lightweight champion of the world. His opponent on the right, Philadelphia's Lou Tendler, rated to have the deadliest left-hand punch ever thrown by a lightweight. The scene, Boyle's fabulous 30 acres in Jersey City. Tex Rickard, the promoter. And these are the only pictures of the fight in existence today. Benny Leonard, the greatest lightweight champ the world has ever known. And what a fight those two put on that night. 15 rounds for the championship. The experts say Benny talked himself through this one. Midway in the 8th, Lou landed a left to the mouth that rocked Benny down to his boots. Leonard the man and Leonard the clown asked Tendler if that was the hardest punch he had. We don't know whether that got loose, Goat, but Benny manages to keep away from any more like it. Tying him up, he spars with Tendler, hangs on. Nobody but Benny knows how close he came to losing the title. Giving a masterful exhibition of boxing, the champ settles down, uses his head, decides he can't outslug Tendler, and perhaps therein lies the story of his success. For when it came to generalship, wizardry, and boxing skill, they never came any better than Leonard. 15 rounds they battled to no decision. And the next year, rematched in Yankee Stadium, Benny Leonard won the verdict before the greatest gate ever to see a lightweight championship. Today, little Benny Leonard still wears his laurels, the retired, undefeated lightweight champion of the world. Wanted a punch. Price, $1 million. That's the ballyhoo that sent Jim Maloney against Jack Sharkey into the ring at the Yankee Stadium on May the 20th, 1927. Jack Sharkey, the Boston Gob, versus Jim Maloney, the Boston Fishmonger. A grudge fight and a feud that bristles with action whenever these two meet, in the ring or out of it. Maloney, the fat boy, a toughie from the docks. The winner slated to meet Jack Dempsey. The last elimination bout staged by Tex Rickard for a crack at the Manassas Mauler. Dempsey now fighting his way back to stardom in a return bout with Gene Tunney. They come out fighting. Sharkey confident of victory. Maloney equally confident and determined to outslug his hated rival. Sharkey crouching lands 1, 2, 3 terrific blows to the head. And Maloney is down. He's back on his feet, though, in a flash. Sharkey sees him coming, and the battle resumes with all the intensity for which these two are famous. Another haymaker, and Maloney's down again. He tries to get up, but he can't go on. Sharkey's like a kid, pushing his handlers away. He goes to help his fallen foe. Poor Jim Maloney, he never had a chance. From the first round, his eyes were closed, and now he sits a battered hulk. Sharkey, the winner, jubilantly happy. Jack Sharkey never beat Jack Dempsey, but he did go on to win the title from Max Schmeling. The scene, New York's Polo Grounds. Max Schmeling, the Black Ulan, has been dethroned by Sharkey. And tonight he's meeting the famous toy bull, Mickey Walker, the greatest fighter New Jersey ever produced. King of the welter and the middleweight divisions. Mickey is moving up on the heavyweights. A victory over the German will move him a step nearer the throne the Jersey idol long has sought. What chance does he have against the powerful reach of the massive Teuton? Only his courage and an indomitable ability to take punishment. For 8 grueling, bloody rounds, Walker amazed all who saw the spectacle, but now the staggering blows of the German are just too much. Time and time again, Schmeling drives him to the ropes. Doggedly, pluckily, the bulldog in Walker refuses to quit. The only thing the matter with Mickey is he never believed the man lived who he couldn't lick. For Schmeling, Walker is a target, but boy, oh boy, a target that's fighting back. German wraps him at will, and Mickey goes to the canvas for the count of 5. But no man living can stand up before the vicious, deadly punching of the Schmeling who went on to beat Joe Louis. The Jersey idol is out on his feet. Now he's down for the count. Max retreats to a neutral corner as the bulldog wearily, dazedly shakes his head. It's the old story of a good little man trying to beat a good big man, and it just isn't in the cards. Superior weight, power, punch, and skill tip the scales too far. And Mickey Walker goes down into ring history as the guy who tried and lost. groggy but game to the end. He's one of the greatest scrappers of all time, and that fight, fans, rings down the curtain on another fistic thriller of the past. So long, this is Bill Stern waiting for you at the ringside.
In a display of courage, Marine. Carpentier is fighting desperately for a second chance to meet Jack Dempsey. And Tunney wants it too. 40,000 in the stands are amazed at the Frenchman's ability to take punishment, such as Gene relentlessly inflicts. Near the end of the round. Carpentier is down. His handlers scream that he was fouled. But it's a knockout for the Marine and a chance for a championship fight with Dempsey. Harry Wills, known as the Black Menace, faces a formidable foe in Paulino Uzcadan, the Basque woodchopper. Wills has met the best and has always given the crowd their money's worth, but this is a fateful night. Suddenly, the Basque throws a right that catches Wills flush on the jaw, and down he goes for the count of 8. Uzcadan is all set for the kill. He pounds rights and left to Harry's head, and it's all over as referee Louis Magnolia counts off the fatal 10. Fans pay more than $1 million to see Jack Dempsey, the Manassas Mauler, meet his old foe, Jack Sharkey. To many, Jack doesn't look like the Dempsey of old, as Sharkey meets him toe-to-toe and blow for blow. Many claim Sharkey is even better than an even chance as the fight progresses. Two smashing blows to Sharkey's midsection, and Jack goes down. Many spectators and sports writers claim the blows were below the belt, but referee Jack O'Sullivan calls Sharkey out by a knockout. There's a jam-packed crowd of 60,000 in Comiskey Park to see world's heavyweight champion Jim Braddock meet the much-touted Joe Louis from Detroit in defense of his title. In a flurry of blows, Louis hits the canvas for the count of 1, but springs to his feet seemingly unhurt. Now comes the punch that made fistic history. The brown bomber crashes a right to Braddock's jaw, which sends him sprawling on the canvas, face down and helpless, as referee Tommy Thomas counts him out. And so starts the remarkable career of heavyweight champion Joe Louis.
Taking you back to May 31st, 1938. Madison Square Garden Bowl, Long Island City, New York. Here we go into round 4. The scheduled 15-round title bout between welterweight champion Barney Ross and Henry Armstrong, Hurricane Hank. Ross with a white stripe on his trunks. Ross is 2 inches taller than Armstrong and also has the longer reach. Call Armstrong Hurricane Hank, and he sure is. Ross won his welterweight crown from Jimmy McLarnin just 3 years before. Barney's one of the most popular fighters in the ring today. He's classy, he can hit, he always gives the fans a run for their money. The end of round 4. Now round 9. Armstrong packing plenty of action into this fight. He's like a windmill in a hurricane. Ross is almost helpless, hardly returning a punch. Now the champ's finding the range. Armstrong moves in again and takes over. The end of round 9, round 13. Now there's the old Barney Ross, peppering Armstrong with left jabs. But again, it was just for a moment. What do you do with a hurricane? How do you fight one? Barney's fought the toughest of fighters, but it looks like he's taking more punishment tonight than in any other fight. Maybe this is what he was thinking when he said no one would ever have to tell him he was through. He said all he had to do was take one bad beating. Maybe this is it. The end of round 13. Now the 15th and final round. Armstrong practically unmarked after 14 furious rounds. He's just as fast, throwing just as many punches as when the fight started. Barney lasting out through sheer courage. If this is his last fight, he wants to make his exit standing up. The end of the fight. And the end of a truly great champion. Henry Armstrong makes ring history. Becomes the first fighter to hold both welterweight and featherweight titles at the same time. June 10th, 1948. Rupert Stadium, Jersey City. Round 2 of this 15-round bout, Rocky Graziano, world's middleweight champion, meets Tony Zale, the former champion, in a 15-rounder for the title. This is the third meeting. Graziano with a white stripe on his trunks. Graziano has youth on his side. He's only 26. Zale is 34. Rocky's been installed the favorite, 2-1. When Zale was middleweight champion, Graziano made his first bid for the title. Zale knocked him out in 6 rounds. In a return match a year later, Rocky knocked Zale out and won the title. Now Zale gets another shot at his former crown. The end of round 2. Round 3. He's up. That's the count of 7. Now let's take a good look at Zale's terrific punching in slow motion. Zale hooking into the body to straighten Rocky up. Now watch Zale's favorite combination. A right to the body. Left hook to the jaw. And that's all. Before the fight, Zale said he'd win in 3 rounds. And he sure called the shot. It's a big upset, though, so far as the fans and the experts are concerned. No one thought Tunney had a chance of beating the younger, stronger, and more powerful Graziano. The crowd is just routine. A great comeback for Tunney Zale. Once again, the middleweight champion of the world.
Kept boxing beautifully, dazzles his man with his brilliant footwork. These moves show why Willie is called Willie the Wisp. Sadler still stalking his man. Referee is warning Sadler for holding and hitting. This round, a bad cut over Willie Pep's right eye is opened. Pep is scoring beautifully till cornered here. Willie seems to go down from a series of blows to the body rather than any one shot.
still shooting at the head. Watch Willie Pep's tricky footwork here. He's learned a lot of good judo tricks. Sadler still making the fight, pressing, doing most leading, and willing to take punches to get in. Pep loses this round for foul tactics, and look closely you can understand why. That was a warning for thumbing and heeling. There goes Sadler almost when Pep hooks that leg around his right. There goes the referee. Big debate in Pep's corner, but he does come out for the round. Despite the warnings for tripping and thumbing, it still continues. Look at those open gloves and thumbs flying. Seems weaker in the clinches as a result of that barrage. Now there's frantic activity between Pep and his handlers in the corner, and there goes the doctor over to check. And now, very shortly, comes the announcement ending one of the roughest, the weirdest, and certainly the most controversial fight in ring history.
Willie Pep, unable to continue. The winner at the end of the 9th round, and still the featherweight champion of the world, Sandy Sadler.
Hi there, folks. This is Jim Stevenson taking you back to July 1952. Rocky Marciano, hard-hitting slugger from Brockton, Massachusetts, trains for his big fight with Harry Kid Matthews of Seattle, Washington, scheduled for July 28th at Yankee Stadium. While Matthews trains in secret in a New York gymnasium, all reporters and cameras barred, Rocky Marciano goes through his paces at his training headquarters, Greenwood Lake, New York. Rocky's trainer, Charlie Goldman, carefully tapes his hands and adjusts his headgear. Rocky puts in 85 rounds of rugged sparring. A session with a light bag sharpens Rocky's punching speed and timing. Rocky mauls the heavy bag to increase punching power and strengthen stomach and back muscles. Besides doing many miles of road work, Rocky jumps rope to strengthen leg muscles and increase foot speed. Bouncing a basketball sharpens eye and muscle coordination. After a hard day's work, Rocky enjoys his rub-down by Charlie Goldman. Rocky's father asks him how he feels. Good, says Rocky, never felt better in my life. Those powerful neck muscles are the reason Marciano can take the hardest jolts to the head. Rocky eats one big meal a day. After the day's training is over, steak, baked potato, and green salad, followed later by plenty of milk. Good. And there's 2 juicy pounds of it. For recreation, Marciano plays a few games of table tennis. He's an excellent player, enjoys it a lot, and it helps to sharpen his eye and muscle reflexes. A session of cards with sparring partners and trainers affords relaxation and amusement, keeps his mind occupied and off the fight. Rocky rests in his favorite easy chair. He's ready and confident of victory. July 28th, the night of the big fight, and here we are at Yankee Stadium along with 25,000 excited fight fans. It's the big moment for Rocky Marciano and Harry Kid Matthews. The winner of this fight will meet heavyweight champion Joe Walcott in September, and plenty of money and prestige is riding on the line tonight. At the weigh-in earlier in the day, Marciano tipped the scales at 187.5, the heaviest he's ever been in the ring. Matthews was 179, just 4 pounds over the light heavyweight limit. Referee Ray Miller gives the boys their instructions, and the big fight will begin in just a moment. Round 1, Rocky Marciano, sensational slugger from Brockton, Massachusetts, and Harry Kid Matthews, classy Seattle contender. 10 rounds here at Yankee Stadium, New York. Matthews in the dark trunks. Marciano's not the fancy boxer. He's a slugger, and he can hit with dynamite effect. Marciano's had 41 fights since entering the pro ranks in 1948. He's won them all, 36 by knockout. Kid Matthews has it over Marciano on experience. The kid's been in the fight game for 14 years. He's had 105 bouts, winning 96 and scoring 62 knockouts. He's a classy boxer and fine counterpuncher. But Marciano is the top heavy favorite tonight, 11-5. Kid Matthews showing much more speed than Marciano in his first round. The end of round one. Round two. Marciano in the white trunks. Matthews' strategy is to box Marciano, keep him at a distance, and when Rocky comes in, hold him and tie him up. Matthews is down. 2 lightning-fast left hooks. He's badly hurt. He can't make it. See Marciano's terrific punching power in slow motion in just a moment. Now let's take a closer look at the knockout and see the terrific power of Marciano's punching. Almost 2 minutes of the second round have gone, and Matthews is handling Marciano quite easily. Matthews is shifty and fast, and Marciano can't get to him for that one big punch. Marciano lunges with the left jab, then hooks, and hooks again, and Matthews is knocked to the canvas. He's badly hurt. His eyes are glassy. One careless moment. He dropped his right low. Marciano, quick as a flash, crashed through the opening. It's all over. Marciano helps Matthews to his feet. Rocky wants to be sure Matthews is all right. Yes, Matthews is okay. He's coming out of the fog now. Rocky Marciano, the winner by a clean knockout in 2 minutes, 4 seconds of the second round.